Hey, this is Jennifer Duck, or or Daisy Duck, and you are with me in my sewing room as I was quilting. Some of the thread got up underneath the white and it's green, so now I have to rip a couple of stitches out. Ah, hang on a minute. I don't know about y'all, but I have been fighting ladybugs for the last couple of months. And where the hell are they coming in at? We have no idea. But they are a pain in the butt. I hear Poppy outside. I might have to seal up my windows. Hear Poppy in the woods. Well, it's a nice day outside. Now I gotta stand up on a... Dad! Oh, heck. Nothing is going right today. I'll be right back. Where's that thing at? I got a ladybug. I have to stand on my stool. Nobody else probably gets them except us. A pain and a headache. And I hope to God I don't fall. For some crazy reason, I like to come in where it's warm. I haven't seen it. I thought I sealed it up. There's probably some more. I hate them. Shouldn't kill ladybugs, but these are a different kind of ladybugs. Why am I having such a hard time with pushing buttons? Ah. Okay, put it back in there. Never a dull moment at this household. All right. Okay, let's try this again and see. I was sewing really good, but there's this string is all over this quilt, and I have a special foot on, but when it's green and white and it gets in the green thread gets in the white area, you can see it, and I can't live with knowing it's like that. So I am going around cutting all these little threads the best I can make sure it doesn't show. It's just who I am. I can't help it. I want to do it right. I don't do things ass backwards. But I did my room in that bedroom. When I put down the wood for the floor in there, I put tar paper thinking it was going to work, but it didn't. So now I have to crawl under the house and put a heavy, thick plastic so that none of the dampness comes up. Anyways, I don't like that floor. And I wanted to change a different floor in there. And my husband is like, there's nothing wrong with that floor. Yeah, there is. Everything is damp in that room, damp. And everything is getting moldy. And you walk through the house, only in that one room in the front. I tried fixing the floor, and I did. I fixed it. But then I didn't put the right... Mike Holmes would be really disgusted with me right now. But, yeah. So now I gotta fix it. And then my girlfriend there in Washington State says, oh, you can't do that job. You're too old. I was like, well, I got to because there ain't nobody else to help me. Crawl under. There's like, up front, there's only like, let's say 2 foot. And then you got the floor. So it's going to be a tight area up there. So, when it warms up, I have to put my long johns under my clothing to go out there and fix it. My husband's getting older and he doesn't want to do anything anymore. You have a house, you have to take care of it. It's not going to take care of itself. So, I'll get this done, and I could have to rip out some of the spots. Might as well just go ahead and shut my machine off because I'm not going to sew right now. I have to cut all the strings. Time consuming. Oh my God, what a mess this is. All snarled. So what's everybody doing on a fine, beautiful day today in your neck of the woods? Thank you for everybody watching my channel. I'm just a mom and a granny. Wow, I was looking at my channel and I don't do this to make money. No, I just do this for fun. And if you watch me, fine. If you don't, that's okay. I even watch myself when I can't sleep at night. My head can't shut my head off because I'm thinking of things to do. sit in my recliner and turn me on. That's funny. And watch me. And it's relaxing. Who is Lily barking at? Oh, Poppy. Poppy has a sweater. She's our neighborhood dog that nobody takes care of except me and a few neighbors. Gosh. It's everywhere. Everywhere I look is green thread. Now the white's not so bad, but the green thread is. That looks better. So I got one, oh geez, look at this down here. Yeah, probably what I'll do is this summer, tear that deck out there, tear it completely off. Since I got cedar steps, oh, I'd love to have a cedar deck. Oh yeah, go to the sawmill up here. The Amish have a sawmill, a friend, and work on that. I like challenges. For a person that doesn't read very good. No, no. Dude, this all comes natural to me. I was in special education classes from 3rd grade to 11th grade, and I graduated and at Freedom High School in Pennsylvania. And before we all graduated, they told us that we were misfits, that we would never make it in society. Boy, were they damn wrong, weren't they? Just because I couldn't hear the A-E-I-O-U sounds, I was the only girl in woodshop in junior high. They used to laugh at me because I couldn't figure out what they were doing. Well, they wanted me to read this stuff, and that's how you do it. Well, hell, mine was different. I look at it, I would make it. So, matter of fact, I'm not knocking the boys, but the girls do good stuff too. And God has gave me a gift. A special gift. That's how I look at it. My dad was a bricklayer. My uncles were a carpenter. And I would just sit there and watch them. So I figured it out. I had a Victorian house back home in Illinois. Oh God, the thing was old. Old. I think the captain only gave like $500 for it. And when I took the baseboards apart, my baseboards were 2 inches thick, about 10 inches tall, and I found a letter that belonged to a soldier and his wife, and I put it in with the extort papers, and I took that house apart. Oh gosh, it was 1,000 on each floor, and moved from Charleston, South Carolina, and I had big furniture, and them steps were so tiny. Oh my God, tiny people lived at this house. the steps were like not even 12 inches wide all the way upstairs. And I looked at my husband and said, that's not gonna work. We have to open up to get my bedroom furniture upstairs. And that's when it took off. Yep. I did the work myself. I took care of a guy's kids. He had 5 boys. The Rushke's kids up there in Illinois. And his dad was a plasterer, and I did everything else. My husband's an electrician. And we fixed that house. And when the kids grew up, and I mean grew up, they moved away, and we were in this huge Victorian house. So we had a crazy idea when we came south. We had property over there by Mousetail Landing, and we sold it to Eddie Ledbetter. He wanted it for his kids since he lived across the street from our property. So we sold it to him, thinking, oh no, that's our vacation home when we come back and forth. And we looked around when we first moved here, and we loved this little place. It was just a little cabin at the time. 600 square feet. 672 square foot of a house. And we liked it because it was on a private drive, keep out, and it was perfect. Now, I've got big furniture. And whoa, you talk about a tiny house. 672 square foot of a house. And then our house in Illinois was about 3,300 square feet. And moving to Tennessee, our children thought we were crazy. My father-in-law thought for sure we've lost it because we had no jobs. We just said it was time to move. Money isn't everything. Get out of your sanity too. So we came down here, looked for a place, and we found this place. And had a huge, and I mean a huge yard sale. I didn't know that you were not supposed to put signs up on the interstate. We lived off of Interstate 80 there in Atkinson. Highway 6 and 80. And we loaded everything up that we could take with us in a big Penske truck. And I towed my Honda Civic behind us as we took a big Penske truck and moved down here. Now, Nick was still working, and I didn't have to work because he worked at ComEd. So I was a stay-at-home mom and raising 2 boys. The kids didn't really need me, but I stayed home and did the remodeling up there and the remodeling here. And one wonderful day, I was in the little house doing something in there, and he called me on my cell phone. What are you doing? I said, oh, just recycling the fan and painting the walls and getting it ready for us when we ever come back again. He said, are you sitting down? I said, sure, I'm sitting down. What's up? He said, I put in my 2 weeks notice and I quit my job. You could almost heard a pin drop. I said, you did what? I said, don't you understand we have a house payment that was $1,500 a month? And our house payment here in Tennessee was $300. And I had an RV payment of $3 something. I was like, we were way, way over our means of life, let me tell you. He said, oh, we're going to be fine. I'm like, yeah, okay. Well, I came home and we packed up the diesel truck. Oh no, I left the diesel truck home. That's right. I got a U-Haul, a Penske truck. And I moved us down here. Oh my God. We got down here in that little house. And I'm talking little. It was just a cabin. That's all it was. It had 4 windows and 2 doors, and that's it. And the windows were paper thin. I mean, paper thin. We went back to Illinois, and like I said, I put up these yard sale signs on Interstate 80 that I didn't know you're not supposed to do, and I did. And I had everywhere. I put them everywhere. All over Kelowna, all over Geneseo, where we kids went to school. Put in the paper. Moving sale. And I get a knock at my door at like 4 o'clock in the morning. I peek through my sewing room. I look, there's a big RV and a big old trailer behind the RV. I told Nick, there's somebody out there in front of the house. The Ford dealer was across the street. So I go down in my robe, open up the door with the lock. And they came, because I turned the lights on. And they say, we're here for the yard sale. I says, well, since I'm up already, let me put some coffee on and I'll let you come in. They were the first ones there. Nick got dressed, came down. He couldn't believe that people were out there waiting to come in. The lady asked me, what's for sale? And I said, everything in here, because I had big furniture in it. There was no way I could take that furniture and put it in this little house. I would buy new stuff when I started to work. She said, what do you want for it? I said, if you got $1,500, it's yours. She gave me cash. We loaded everything up in the truck. And then my girlfriend next door, Donna Cross, she came over and said, where's your stuff? I said, I sold it. Didn't you see that RV out there out front? Yeah. I said, I sold it to them. So we still made out pretty good. Then, after the yard sale, I hooked up to my diesel truck, my Ford 250, and hooked up to the trailer. And we parked the trailer in the my father-in-law's house because there was no place to put it here. We've been here ever since. I've been here over 25 years now. Have I looked back? At first I did, but nah, this is home. This is home. And I did the work myself. My house inside, it only had 1 bedroom, 1 living room, 1 kitchen, and 1 bathroom. And we all clammed in it when the kids got out of the army. They came to visit us. That's Lily barking. After they left, I went to the bank in Perry County. That's who had our house payment. And I asked them, I said, I'd like to borrow some money so I could add on to the house. Because the kids, we just piled them in the living room. That's how tiny it was. The guy at the bank asked me, who's going to build it? I said, well, let me think that one out. I said, Clyde Harlow is our neighbor. I asked him, if I help you build yours, will you help me build mine? He said yes. We bargained. So he came over and I designed it. I drew me up my plans, how I wanted my, first I would thought maybe just put it on a screen. Then of course, boy, I'm so glad I closed it. And I built me a 60 by 19 family room, a 16 by 13 bedroom, a brand new roof on all of it, a brand new deck on the side, and out front, a whole brand new deck with everything. That took me over about 2 years. I got all my wood from Helms Lumber there in Scott Hill. They're no longer there. And everything is car siding. And I did a honey oak. And the ceiling is the same thing I have here. And it's Luan. See? Luan is a thin board. Real thin. It's very flexible. That's what people use in their campers. And it took me 2 years, but all my paychecks went into my house. So we sold the house up there in Illinois. The first week we got here, where'd we go? We went to Cracker Barrel. Thought we were gonna starve, you know. But knock on wood, we're still good. We're still going strong. Sold the house up in Illinois, and then got a job. I worked at Bates. That's a car place up here in Louisville. It was so hot. We moved here in August. Of course, our little house doesn't have air conditioner yet. It just had window air. Oh, I thought I was gonna die. I lasted a week. He lasted 2 days. He got his resume. It was so hot in that factory. I'm not knocking the factory, but this factory had no air conditioner. And I was pulling gaskets. I was making gaskets for the car. But I didn't give up there. So that job, I lasted a week. I got a job on over there at, where'd I work? Let me think. It's been 25 years here. Whew. I worked at Westwood Nursing Home as housekeeping till old lady threw up on me. Down my shoes. I'm like, really? She couldn't help it. I thought to myself, I gotta find a driving job. So that's what I did. I went and got my F endorsement license, and I drove for M Farm out of Parsons. I hauled medicine to all the nursing homes in the state of Tennessee and part of Corinth, Mississippi. You having a hard time? Let me help her. Hold on. Come here, sis. Oh, get up here. There, get under the cover, sissy. Oh, let's see. After worked over there, got my F endorsement, and worked for M Farm and hauled meds all over east, west, north, south at night, from 6 at night till 6 in the morning. I worked with 4 older guys. And them guys would stop. I can tell you where they stopped. They would stop and get their bologna and eat. And I'd be done with my job and come home. And get up and do it the next morning or next evening. Well, they laid me off for a while. So then I worked at Food Giant there in Linden and in the deli. I thought, oh my God, I gotta get back out to driving again. This is not for me. I'm not an indoor person. I'm an outdoor person. And so they called me back to go back to work. And I said, yay. I worked there for 2 years, I think it was. Yeah, 2 or 3 years doing a night job. I loved it. And then the guy came back and he wanted to, they put me on days, and I'm like, there is no way I'm not going back to days. I like nights. So, got a job at Gore's Key Stop in a gas station. Meanwhile, the household, they came and repossessed our camper because we were living way out of our means. And I got on with Dave Ramsey. My son told me about Dave Ramsey. And I was paying the envelope system. That was working. And then before, when I was doing my night job hauling drugs. Yes, I was drugged. Yes, I used to haul medicine to when people said, what do you do for a living? I said, well, I haul drugs. But it's just to the nursing homes. That was illegal stuff. And I was in Memphis. I got me an air conditioner, called up Nick and said, hey, come meet me at the bridge. I got us an air conditioner. Do you know to this day, I've been here 25 years, that air conditioner still works? Oh my gosh, got to tap on wood. Yep, it still works. I'm shocked. And then when a good friend of mine, he's in his 80s now. Don Johnson is his name. Good friend of mine. He drove for Jeff Reeves, and he come into the shop, and he said, hey Daisy, yeah? He said, go and get your truck and bring it to the shop and get the trailer. I said, what am I going to do with my trailer? He said, just go get it. I said, okay. I had a soft side trailer. I hauled everything in it. And, I didn't know at the time they were betting on me that I couldn't do it because I was a girl. Boy, were they wrong. Well, Jeff told me, he said, Daisy, if you can pull that truck and your trailer in between them two trucks, you get a job. I said, really? So I did. Of course, they were all laughing at me because they didn't think I could do it, but boy, were they wrong. I pulled that baby right in there, no problem. Had to close in my side mirrors because they were sticking out a little bit. And I got out of the truck, and Jeff looked at me and said, good job, go get your medical card. That day was around Thanksgiving. And I told him I'm not leaving on Thanksgiving because we were just here. He said, how about after it? And I said, sure, I'll go after. My first runs were to Texas, all the way down there to Parr. But he told me, never cross over the border. You won't come back. I said, that's fine, I won't. So that was my runs, and I loved it. My house was almost paid for. And then Nick decided to quit his job at ComEd. He got a job at ComEd. No, not ComEd. New Johnsonville, that's it. And my friends wanted to break his bones, but I said, no, we won't do that. So I had to work a lot. And then 9/11 hit. I was on my way to North Carolina. My truck was acting up. I drove a box truck. And my truck, like I said, was acting up, and I got someplace in North Carolina. I can remember where I was on my way to Georgia to pick up some parts, car parts. And I pulled in. Jeff said, I got somebody come. Oh, that's what it was. Something wrong with it. And some guy was coming to fix it. So I just got to sleep in my truck. And somebody's tapping on the window. And I said, what? He said, oh, we're here to fix your truck. Okay, so they took me into their place. I asked the man if I could just lay down on his cot because I was exhausted. And he said, sure, no problem. Well, then a few minutes later, his kid comes over and he tries to touch me, you know. I open one eye and says, if you want to keep that hand, do not do that again. He says, we're under attack. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And I went back to sleep. He said, no, we are under attack. I said, what the hell are you talking about? He says, there's airplanes coming in. I was like, man, they shot everything down that time. I had a heck of a time leaving there. All my friends were stuck in port. Finally got down to Georgia, sat with my son. My boss said, just stay there until we figure out what's going on. I did. Stayed in Georgia. That was scary. And then came home after 9/11. Then I got laid off again. God, I can't win. But I didn't give up. I did not give up. Then I got another job driving for Wilbur Harris, bring people to doctors all over the state of Tennessee. What have I done? Oh my God, driving a truck is so quiet. You didn't have to deal with with people driving on the road, but what have I done? I worked for Wilbur over 13 years, driving crazy people to doctors and hospitals up and down these roads. Then one morning I go out there in my medical van and I sit. We went from 5 days a week, 6 days a week, because I never said no. And at the end, I kept telling him, you know, how about cutting down my hours? I don't need all these hours. He never listened. No, my friends, you don't slow down there, your body's going to shut you down. Let me tell you, if you have a stressful job, your body will shut you down. And mine did. Out there in that medical van, sat there for, I think it was like 3 o'clock. And then when I woke up, well, it was, my boss called and, I don't want to cut that. Maybe I should tack that. Are you going to work today? Yeah, I'm going to work today. He said, where are you? I looked around. I said, well, I think I'm in my driveway. You think? What are you doing in the driveway? You're supposed to be down at Jackson, Tennessee, take somebody to the VA, because I knew Memphis. I said, I don't know. He said, what do you mean you don't know? I said, I don't know. I said, matter of fact, I don't know who you are either. Who are you? And right then and there, he knew something was wrong. Well, that was at 3, and it was when he called, it was 8. My husband rushed me to Vanderbilt. They thought I had a stroke. No, it wasn't a stroke. It was 12 hours, 14 hours every day. From Monday through Sunday, I worked. And the stress. I watched my husband fall off an RV head first. And that put me did something in my head. And then my son had a messy divorce. Don't ask me how I made it to Missouri, because I couldn't tell you. I wasn't, and then right away when things happen to you, when stress happens to you, the first thing they want to do is put you on drugs. Well, this chick didn't take drugs. I did it by dealing with it. And you can deal with stress. You don't always have to be on drugs like they think you have to be. I just couldn't understand what was wrong. I would have issues like my girlfriend Barb, for a matter of fact, scared the hell out of her a couple of times. That scared me. I'd be driving down the highway. As long as I kept my head straight, I was okay. If I just turned to this light, it felt like there was a semi on top of me. Or if I felt like I'm here and my body's there. I can't explain it. But, yeah, that's what happened to me. So I knew something was wrong. I had to turn in my keys. That just about killed me. Now, I'm not a house mom. I had to learn to be a house mom again. All them years. So that took a toll on me. I don't know what happened to my life. For 2 years, I really don't know what happened. But I knew I wasn't crazy. So I went over to Centerstone over there in Hohenwald. And I told the guy, I said, listen, I know I'm not nuts. There's something wrong. He said, I'll tell you what's wrong. He said, your boss overworked you 12, 14-hour days, 7 days a week. That right there would kill anybody. And it did. Well, Paul, the man that I took care of for 5 years, was my best friend. We went everywhere. He owned the CB shop at 163 in Dixon. And the physical, well, not the physical, the shrink doctor over there, Brian Cyril Thorne, I think he still works, said, what you have to do is you have to get back in your vehicle and drive. I looked at him, I said, I can't even drive out of the damn driveway without having a panic attack. And let me tell you, them panic attacks are horrible. You feel like you're having a heart attack. And it's hard. So they want to give you drugs. Well, I don't do drugs. I don't do any kind of medicine. I'm 68 and I take 0. Medicine doesn't like me, and I don't like it, how it makes you feel. So when I got a panic attack, I would look something in my room and focus on that. And the most important thing is to breathe. Take a deep breath, hold it, and blow it out. And it worked. And then my best friend says, Paul, I miss him. This is Paul. This is Paul. This is him. This is him. He's in my jar. I took care of him a long time. He says, Paul goes to me, he says, hey, we're going on a road trip and you're driving. I was like, you're out of your mind. I can't even drive out of the driveway. He said, we're going to be fine. I'm going to tell you, I almost killed him. We almost killed each other because we're both two damn Yankees and we think we are both right. Oh, Lord. But that was the best thing he ever did. Yep, that was the best thing he ever did. Well, then I got my disability. God, my poor lawyer kept asking her, man, what's wrong with me? Why am I feeling this way? This is crazy. Nobody should have to go through all this BS. And between my best friend and my other friend that drove a truck, Don Johnson, helped me. He used to take me, I couldn't remember anything. You know what? Stress is a horrible thing. It really messes up with everything. I couldn't tell you my kids. I couldn't tell you anything. And you have to work on it. And I did. I did a good job. And then when I gave my keys up driving, oh Jesus, that right there just about killed me. Because I love to drive and I go everywhere and I'm not afraid because I feel that God's with me at all times. God heaven help anybody jumps me, God heaven help them. I will hurt them bad. I grew up with brothers. But I hope that never happens. Let's see. So Paul, we went, I drove his car, and he's disabled because he had a motorcycle accident, so he only drives with one arm. His arm was paralyzed. So we went Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, New York. Just I gotta say right, New York. Upstate New York, and visited his friend, his childhood friend, and went to North Carolina to visit my girlfriend and all my friends in PA, all my friends in North Carolina, upstate New York. Oh, it's beautiful up there. Not right now because there's a lot of snow. Where else? We went to Tennessee. Gatlinburg was my favorite place. Me and Paul would go, and then back home. Yep. Life is funny. How things happen to us. So, I learned to do a lot of that stuff. I'm sorry. I think about Paul a lot. I miss him. He gives me grief. Even now, what's wrong with this picture? Yep. So after that, I learned to be a house mom and stay busy. And sewing is what kept me going. No drugs. I didn't do drugs. I volunteered, food pantry and stuff. Then Polly owned that CB shop at the 163, and after we got back from our trip, 6 months later around Christmas time, we were walking around up in Dixon at the, what is that place, Tractor Supply, and dropped them off and said, I'll see you tomorrow, because it was a Saturday, and Sunday was coming, and I'll see you then. And I called him, and I knew he was home. I called him all day long, and then I realized something happened to him. I called the shop and I said, you need to go over there and break that damn door down because something's wrong with
Let's see
him.
what's all the lights in your eyes. He's standing there.
Cover up, Dad. She already had a cookie.
You did? Okay. Okay, there you go. There you go.
Give her her cookie.
Well, you said you already had one. Okay, here. There, and then I'll cover you up.
Okay.
Let me take your robe away.
No, leave it. I leave it there.
Okay. Take your mug of coffee away.
Yeah.
Oh, empty. Okay.
I'll take some hot chocolate now.
Oh, I don't know about that now.
Yeah. So, Paul and I were walking around and told him, sorry, that was my husband, Nick, and came in to give Missy her cookie. So then, by the time I hit the interstate, I had 911 there, and he's on his bed, blood everywhere. and he's paralyzed. And he's already paralyzed, I mean, with his right arm with motorcycle, but he just couldn't move. And I looked at him and I said, guess what, buddy, you're going to VA. He said, no, I'm not. Oh, yeah, you are. Yeah, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Like Missy crapped in the kitchen.
I'll fix it. Don't tell me about it, just do it.
I'm going to.
Okay, bye. Shut the door. God, he's so hopeless. I run everything. I keep everything going. But, yep. When the ambulance got there and he said he wasn't going to the VA, I said, guess what, honey? You are going. You worried about you. And, oh, yeah. The ambulance got him on the ambulance, take him to Nashville, and the guy looked at me and said, you probably can't keep up with me. I was right behind him. When he pulled in, I pulled in the VA. A guy looked at me and said, where are you from? I said, I'm a Yankee. I'm up from north. Yeah, Polly had a stroke and a heart attack and then bladder cancer. Poor guy. But the problem was there now. He has family around there. And his sister lives in Dixon. His brother lives in Nashville. And he has 2 brothers in New York and 1 brother in Florida. And he's the oldest out of that many. None of them would stop and help him. Nobody wanted the responsibility. My husband's Navy. I'm a Navy wife, and we take care of ours. I was by his side the whole time he was there. When he got out of the VA and they asked me, where are you going to bring him? I said, bring him to Parsons. And from there, I'll take care of him. And I did. When he got over there to the rehab, he said, I wanted you to be my POA. I had a lawyer come to the nursing home where he was. He signed them papers before he moved in with me. I had the VA give me everything I needed to take care of him. Everything. Ramps, lifts, beds, everything that he needed for his needs. I got him service connected also. And I was his POA. So, needless to say, he stayed in my sewing room where I have to fix. And I took care of him over almost 5 years. I was his caregiver. God, we went places everywhere. And he was a smart cookie, let me tell you. He had nothing in his name. He made damn sure nothing was in his name. And the people that he had a CV shop, they stole from him. While he was in the hospital, the tax people wanted me to pay the taxes. And I said, no, just shut it down. They had more money going out than no money coming in. So I said, no, close it. So that's what happened. And I took care of the buddy right to the end. Right to the end. When he passed, he died in my arms in the bedroom. Nobody ever should have to go through that like I did, but I did. I think his sister came to visit maybe a couple times. That's about it. And she only lived an hour away. His brother, Ronnie, and his girlfriend came. to say goodbye, but Paul didn't know that he was there. Ronnie and Johnny did something bad to Paul. And I tried to get Paul to talk to him, but he didn't want nothing to do with them. When your own family steals from you, you don't want nothing to do with them. So that's what happened. So Paul didn't want nothing to do with them too. And I tried to get him to talk to them, or talk to Paul before he passed, but he didn't want nothing to do with them. And it was hard because then it looked bad on me, but I tried. But Richie came, saw Paulie, and I miss him too. And let's see, Chris come 1 or 2 or 3 times. She has a niece down here in Selmer, so she'd come. Well, oh boy, I'm glad I stopped to do this. This is a mess. What a mess. Sorry, I didn't mean to cry. But that's my story. Sticking to it. But at least you're in my own room. And we're listening to some good music. It's copyright free music on their website. A quilting friend. Ooh, geez, I'm cold. I'm gonna have to turn the heater up a little. But, yep, he used to call me Daisy. And all my friends call me Daisy now. Sometimes I write Daisy, and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, that ain't my name. Maybe I should change my name. When you have a last name Duck, huh? And then I'd have to change my passport. Oh no, I can't do that. Yeah. And his brother Ronnie thought that I owe him. I don't know anybody. Paul didn't have nothing in his name. Nothing. Nothing at all. He made sure that that's how it was going to be. And before he passed, because he used to talk about his daughter. He has one daughter, and she's in Columbus, Georgia, I think. And I tried to get them to talk, but something happened many years ago, I guess, and she wouldn't talk to him. But he changed. He changed when he came to my house. Yeah, I wasn't going to put up with his crap. 2 Yankees. Mm-hmm. We get into it some good times, let me tell you. Nick would walk in and walk back out. Ooh, I could put my sweater on or turn the heater on. Can you bring me my red sweater? Yeah. And then
Turn your heat up.
I did, but I need my sweater. I'm
There you go.
cold.
There you go. Is it going well?
Yeah, I have to trim all this. Shut my door.
I am when I don't get out here.
This sweater is old. Oh my God. Well, it's an extra large. My girlfriend, Debbie, she gave it to me long time ago when I was driving a medical van. It's the warmest sweater. It's falling apart. Then she brought me this thing that you know, go around. Well, I cut my sweater. Oh, hell, I gave it back to her and said, forget it. Now I gotta fix my sleeves. Hey, Nina. So, I'm sorry, people. I miss him. Shouldn't have talked about him. He's been gone. He died in October the 7th on my girlfriend Ginger's birthday. 19th? 2019, I think it was, yeah. And I was working on this room. Paul used to tell me, Days, you need to do what you gotta do. I said, what do you mean by that? And he says, you like sewing, you like working wood. He says, why don't you turn that screened-in porch into your sewing room? I said, you know, Paul, I might just do that. And before he passed, I was working on this. Gary, my friend, farmer, I ordered the windows at Lowe's. These are all windows that they have there before the prices went up. And I designed this room. And I took off all the wood, all the screen, all the ceiling, and recycled the wood also. I don't like wasting any wood. And I borrowed Gary's planer. And I ran it through the machine and got off all the stain. And, oops. Still waiting for my hot chocolate. And, Polly said, you know, you need a quilting machine. I said, no, I don't. He said, because I had one. I had, Gonna have to fix that. I will take my machine and run it over. Let me get a pin. I've got a loose threads. They come loose. So now I gotta fix that. He says, you need a new machine. I said, Paul, I'm happy with my little GP over there. And I had a Gracie frame. He said, no, this was like, what, 6 months before he got sick. He said, let's go to Corinth, your favorite shop. I said, Paul, I don't need a new machine. Sure you do. No, but we'll go to Corinth because that's what you want to do. I try to please him. we went to Corinth. And he said, do you see anything you like? I said, of course, I like everything in here. You're asking me if we go to a fishing store. How do you like all them lures and stuff? I said, well, he didn't tell me he bought me a machine. He just led me on, you know. Hold on a minute. I can't talk and try to do this at the same time. I shake. I blast it. See, now I don't have patience for this. Ah, come on. Okay, well, I'll figure it out when I get that way. Okay, he said, let's go to Corinth, Mississippi. Now, Corinth, Mississippi is about maybe an hour and a half down and an hour and a half back. Yep. We're close to Alabama and Mississippi, where I live. So we went down and looked at these machines, long arms, till I saw the prices and said, "Ooh, no, there's no way. I'm not paying that. No, I'll just use what I have. I'm happy." Well, working on this room. Like I said, took off all the wood. Gary came and he framed it up on the outside. And then before Polly passed, I brought him in here and he says, "Oh, Daisy, this room is going to be a nice room." When you get it done. I said, "I'll get it done, you know. When you're sleeping, I come in here and I piddle and I work, you know." Sorry. Sorry if I repeat myself. I can't help it. It was hard to lose somebody you love and took care of. Told Nick, "Don't get sick on me. I'll put you in a nursing home." Yeah. Oh, I'd say a week before he died. Several boxes came to the house. I didn't know what they were. And the people down Corinth, Mississippi came up and said, "We're here to put your long arm together." I said, "My what?" He said, "Your long arm." I said, I didn't buy no long arm. He said, "Does Mr. Paul Kimberly live here?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "He bought it for you." And he was paying on it. I said, "What does he owe?" So I made a deal with Paul. I just told him it's going back because I can't afford, what was it, $5,000 at the time. He says, "How about if you pay half and I pay half?" So I set up payments with him. And it was my treat. He says, "Because I know you do beautiful work. You always have. And he wanted to give me something that I would love. And when I did my work, I would think of him. I always think of him. And at first, when he died, I couldn't finish this room. I just could not finish this room. Everything stopped. And when somebody passes away, you do not buy something crazy. I did. I bought a used motorhome. I just didn't want to be here anymore. I just didn't want to be in this place anymore. You don't buy something drastic when somebody passes away, because that was a lot of money that I saved, and went to Florida and visited some friends of mine. Oh God, Missy, you're driving me crazy. Missy, stop. Here. Get up here. Lena, Tina. And just, yeah. When somebody passes, you're never supposed to buy anything big. And I did. I bought a used motorhome that had over 144,000 miles on it. And it was nice. But then when he came home, I would work on my room. And said I was free. I could do what I wanted to do now. But you always had to come home. And God, talk about stressed. Oh my God, I was stressed. But I deal with it. It was hard, but I deal with it. And Paul was being cremated. So the machine was broken, and his brothers and sisters were, oh, when are we going to bury Paul, his ashes? And I was like, man, it's all out of my hands. So Paulie went out butt naked, came in the world butt naked, he went out butt naked. I know it sounds funny. They wrapped the sheet around him. Now, Paul's been in my care for almost 5 years. And that heater in my living room, I almost ripped it off the wall. Because Paul was gone. Yeah, it takes a while. Still, it's a tearjerker some days. Like today was one of them, thinking about him. Must be here in the house. Paul, are you in the house? I feel sometimes he's still here with me. I feel his spirit is still here. I'll leave that light on once in a while out there in my breezeway, and I come back and it's shut off, and I'm like, who did that? But it's gotten better. Yeah. Sorry to tell you my life history. That's just who I am. I sit in my pants. Some days it go good. I don't talk about anything, and other days I talk about Paul. Paul was a character. Paul loved to tell him his stories. He was a storyteller. And I've got some videos of him in my, we'd be down at our campsite down on the river. And he was just learning how to walk. He is paralyzed in his right arm, and when he had a stroke, he was, what leg was it? It was the left leg. No, it was the right leg. Was it the right leg? It was his right leg. He's paralyzed with, yeah. He had his leg amputated on the right side, and then his right shoulder arm, he was paralyzed from a motorcycle accident. That's another story. Yeah, he was a storyteller. He would make you laugh. Oh my God, I miss him. So I've got some videos out of him trying to learn how to walk. Then Google decided to get rid of my pictures. They just about blew me away. I started him a Facebook page a long time ago. Now I can't remember what the Facebook page to delete it. But that Facebook, when I was sad, I would write to him on Facebook. And it helped me. Oh my God, it helped me. So if you have a loved one that you lost, and if you still have Facebook, it helped me. Write it down. That's how I deal with it. Yeah. So like I said, I finished this room finally. I sold the RV, and then I bought a pop-up. You know, I'm 68. What is us old folks doing with the pop-up? Oh, Lord mercy. We were doing good until my husband had like a heat stroke. And, oh my God. It just, pop-ups are for younger kids. But we had the best pop-up ever. It was amazing. Huge, big. We were in Georgia. We had to move from one side to the other side. And he got heat stroke, whatever you want to call it. Made him sick, and when we came home, we sold it. We like to camp. So what I have out there now, I have a teardrop. Told I'm not camping anymore. Not doing it. Wrong. Or do we went all the way to Kentucky after they had that that tornado come ripping through Kentucky. Missed their place, and I wanted a teardrop. So now we got a teardrop, and it's tiny. Oh my God, it's tiny. It's got everything a big one's got, but no space. So Paul stays home and watches the house when we're gone. Missy's gonna drive me to drink. Or is it Lena? Lena come in and out, in and out. So. You know, I'm glad I stopped this to cut these threads. And thanks for let me talk to you guys. So, I see there's Russia and France. High up from Russia and France. And USA. Yeah, it'll be warmer and we'll be out there camping again. But then I've been watching this guy. He built himself off the Ford truck a house on the back of his truck. I could see me doing that. Yep, I could see me doing it. Listen, y'all have a good day. We'll talk again. I gotta finish. I got one more row, 2 more rows. And I'll be done with this, but you guys have a good day, and I'm sorry to cry. I think of Paul. I love y'all, and you all be safe. Have a good weekend coming up. Stay warm, and we'll talk to you again. See ya.